So like, I mean, there is some dollars that were moved. It was cool, and we're gonna have scaling problems. We're gonna struggle to keep up with demand.
Or how many people signed up for your subscription box this first round again?
13,
13. And what was the total value of that?
1,900.
1900. Okay. So you're looking at an average of about $150 per user, right?
Sure.
Per subscriber. All right.
Yep.
That's crazy. So look at this, and this lines right up with what we typically see. So what I did was I was just looking at some of the analytics here, and it looks like 7 of your 13, so over half of the subscribers for your subscription box came from the giveaway promotion.
Okay.
Now, so that accounts for if each subscriber, let's say the average is $150 for the subscription. It's $150 a month, which is $1,050 a month from these 7 people from the giveaway. What's interesting, look how much we spent on ads. $1,041. So almost exactly what you spent on ads, you got back in this first round from these email subscribers, which is right in line with what we typically see with our farms. So what's cool about that is, assuming that these guys stay on and you don't grow at all, that means the next 11 months are all profit, right? Your first month pays for the ads, the next 11 months are all profit. And so essentially what we've got here is now we've got a system, right? This is what I find so cool, is now you have a system, you've got all the pieces in place, and we know that you put $1,000 in, you're going to get $1,000 back in 30 days, and then the other 11 months, the other $11,000 are all profit, which essentially means we can just put as much money into this machine as you want, right? You can scale this infinitely.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I mean, it's cool to see those metrics. Because I know our metrics, if you look at dollar per email subscriber, we almost might as well not even look at those because we do have noise. But the cool part is it still worked even with the hiccup.
Yeah, we had a lot of spam come through. We had a couple technical things there, so that's not real reliable. But the fact that
it's cool to see that the dollar still worked for us, though. That's cool to see.
The dollar still worked. You got good people from what you put into it, and that's over a year. That's an 11x return is insane, right? On ad spend. Right. There's companies like software companies usually get a 1.1x return, 1.2x. They put $100 in and it might get $102 out, and they will scale that to multi-million-dollar companies. They're getting an 11x return. That's insane, right? So basically got a money machine here that you just put in and just keep getting back out, that's pretty cool. I mean, I thought that was pretty exciting. I wanted to share that with you. Yeah. Because that's what we've been working to put in place.
Does that return start to diminish as time goes on in terms of because they call it push button marketing, right? So every time we push the button, do we get a little bit less return off that just because we're saturating the market? Or I would imagine not, but not at least right away.
There would be a cap. If we spend $1 million in advertising tomorrow, right?
We're not getting $11 million of subscribers.
At some point you would tap out your local market and your ads would start to fatigue, meaning the cost would increase significantly. But we're a long way from there, and when that happens, then you make adjustments to, you change up your ads, you make adjustments to your demographics, your area.
We have a whole other city that we can service within 2 hours from us that's 3 times the size of Madison.
Okay, yeah, and we're not even close to that. We only have to.
We're not even considering a growth move like that. We haven't even satisfied the Madison. I don't even think we've scratched the surface on the Madison market.
Yeah.
Should we almost work backwards into this and try to figure out how many subscription boxes we can fulfill based on kind of first selections, and then put that amount of money to try to fill our production slots? Then, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So you could kind of look at, what your production, what your capability, capacity is, right? And then we'll know kind of what we can set a budget for, and we can grow slow. Um, it can gradually increase. The other thing to keep in mind is this was the first launch, right? You still got a number of contacts that didn't buy this first time, for a number of
Yeah.
reasons. Part of it was the email deliverability wasn't great. But they're going to be more inclined when you come around the second time, especially when you do some
Yep.
of these promotions we talked about, to sign up. And so this list is going to continue to grow. So this is just the first launch. You've got a lot of other subscribers that are going to going to participate as time goes on, that you can take advantage of. So these
Right.
results are going to get even better over time as you get more people to sign up. So
These are just our early adopters. I don't know,
exactly.
like that graph of early adopters and then like the leaders, and then you have your stragglers, and then you have your people who like are 10 years behind the times all the time. So like we're very much in the early phase of the idea of this. So that's why like for us to get almost $2,000 of reoccurring revenue, that's promising. And again, with a strategy that we didn't execute very well on our end, and then we had some technical difficulties as well. Like I think this is I think it's we're excited to try to grow this, because now I truly feel, now that it's actually out there, public and working, I feel it's easier to market.
Yeah, yeah, and you did a lot of hard
It's
work
more
to.
proven now.
Yeah, more people are going to start spreading the word. You're going to get some word of mouth referrals. And
Yeah.
it was a lot of hard work to get to this point. Get everything set up and in place, and get your partners and get all the products. But now it's built, right? And now it's
Right.
just, the focus is just growing it. So it gets a lot easier from here on out, and you've got a system that you now have some proof that it works, right? And we can grow this as big as you want, essentially.
So that means we probably should put like 1,500 to 2,000 bucks into ad spend this next go around.
Yeah, that would guarantee it, and I wouldn't be surprised if if we doubled that. If you got an extra 25, just because you've got so many other contacts that would likely be more warmed up and more likely to jump in
Right.
this next round.
I know Nicole's been doing a lot better job on social media, and honestly, the store, we've like, so the past 2 or 3 weekends we've been at between like 1,000 and 1,300 bucks a weekend in sales, which isn't maybe a ton, but when previous months we were doing like $600 to $800, like it seems like something's working.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
everything
it's,
kind of works in synchrony, right? The more social media you do,
right,
the more you keep up with your email list. It's going to give you more Facebook views, more social media views, more store visits, in-person visits. Everything's going to kind of work in synchrony. So yeah, you'll
right.
see gains in other areas too. Um,
So I definitely right now it's freezer space issue. That's our next thing we're trying to tackle. We really kind of need a walk-in freezer. So,
Yep. Yeah, that becomes the next
but
challenge, right? Is when you got the sales, and it's
right,
like, okay, keeping up with capacity and storage, and keeping up with all the orders. But that's a good problem to have, right? That's better than not having orders. you know.
well,
Um,
I'm almost wondering, like, there's a world where we actually outgrow the storefront we're in now, because it's only like a little 1,700 square foot building. So
mm,
we definitely have some things to think about. We'll see how this next launch goes. I'm excited for it. I feel like we have a better plan, because Nicole and I understand the plan better,
yeah.
now that we've been through it once. So I think we are going to start learning how to talk to people, how to put that copy together in order to really actually create some interest versus kind of, we were kind of posting and praying, as you like to say. Well, the emails were also kind of just like emailing and hoping. So now that we have a better idea of what this all needs to look like, I feel we'll be able to execute on the plan a lot better. Like seeing this metric gives me a lot of hope, because that tells me that, like, even though, because not that we don't want to do the grinding to find like other business partners to cross promote with, but like it's easier to write the check
Sure.
and just pay and kind of buy the leads. It is easier.
Yeah.
And if we're getting a return on that dollar, like it's not dumb money spent.
Yeah.
Like you said, if some of these larger companies could guarantee even 7x return on their ad spend, like they'd have scaling problems. Like they wouldn't be able to, and we're going to have scaling problems. We're going to struggle to keep up with demand. Like there is a cap with the amount of land we have and the amount of cattle we have. There's going to be a cap to this.
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe we stop doing bulk beef. I don't know what we want to do, but we have 10 animals, probably right around like 50,000 pounds of beef. We were going to do like 4 of those bulk beef, 4 in or a couple in the case, and then the rest in this box. But people are really hungry for beef this first go around. So it was kind of nice to see a lot of different cuts selected, not just ribeyes. So people selected like 8 strip steaks and like 10 ribeyes. And that's at pricing that we thought was just astronomical.
Right.
Like we're getting to the point. It's like I don't know if I would spend this on our feed.
Right.
I mean, we're sitting here looking at an animal that yielded like absolute garbage, probably the worst animal we've ever raised from a yield standpoint. And with the pricing of the box, she still turned like a 60% margin.
What are you selling those ribeyes and strips for?
$34 a pound.
Oh my god! Wow.
And the ground beef was $8 a pound, and we moved 22 to 24 pounds of it.
That's amazing.
So like, I mean, there is some dollars that were moved. It was cool. I mean, the chicken, like, I think we sold like 20 some chicken breasts. Again at $15 a pound.
Wow. So you see the potential with
maybe $14 a pound. Oh, we were bought into the program. It was just trying to figure out how it all works. The app is a very complex app to try to navigate. There's a lot going on in it. We don't have a background in marketing or tech, so like there was a learning curve, but now, I mean, yeah, we're very much bought in. It's just trying to scale it up to a point that we're not getting over our skis on it, because we don't really want to source beef from another place, but we may have to consider that.
Yeah.
I mean, we even sold a brisket for like 7 credits.
Wow.
Like, I'm curious to see what our profit margin is once I break all this down, weigh it out, and go and do a post-mortem on the actual dollars generated.
Yeah.
Because I would expect, I bet we're sitting close to 80% margins on that selection.
Wow, that's incredible.
The margins are going to almost start to feel greedy.
Yeah.
But can't think of it that way, because this is a business and we're trying, like, if we can make a living off of it, I'd much rather make a living doing this than engineering. So
yeah, and the other piece of that is, that's the nice thing about this subscription box, right? Is because you can manage your inventory when you're running low. You can take items off, you can add items in, and you can adjust the credit value, right? So instead of, if you're getting short on ribeyes, instead of selling them for 1 credit, you can do 2 credits, right? Which is really nice.
Right.
You can do those kinds of things, have a lot of flexibility there to manage an inventory.
Well, that's why we needed to have the box set up this way, because we're able to select our box, and we can push inventory around, because ribeyes, there's not going to be ribeye in the offering for a few months now. There can't be.
Right.
Like, there's just not enough ribeye. But we have tenderloin, porterhouse, sirloin, strip steaks. There's a bunch of other stuff that's still delicious that people will enjoy.
Last question for you. Is this something that you would recommend to somebody else based on the results so far?
Yeah, like I said, I think part of it is us being a little bit of beef guinea pigs. Like obviously there was some learning curves, I think, on everyone's side. Um, so like, yeah, I'd say it definitely makes sense. With some caveats to make sure like you really kind of need to be localized to a larger market. Like that's important. But so I wouldn't say it's for everyone, but it has a lot of value to, I would assume, most producers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's key because it's hyper local focused. You need to
Right.
be
Yeah.
close to a major city or able to get to it, right? Even if you're 2 hours away,
Right.
that needs to be something that you're going to plan on. Like, okay, once a month, I got to
Yeah.
drive 2 hours to do these deliveries, these pickups.
Absolutely. No, I honestly like like your system is absolutely more poultry focused, but like I think this system for beef makes a lot of sense. Or else obviously we wouldn't have done it. So
Yeah.
I think your market in the beef world, there's just a lot of people doing direct to consumer beef sales. So
But most
hopefully
of
you can
them,
find a good market in this space.
yeah, most of them are shipping all across the country, and it's really hard to compete when everyone's doing that. And let's say somebody orders a
Yeah.
20-pound box for $200, but then either you or the customer has to pay $40 in shipping plus dry ice and liners and boxes, and it's just
Easily all day.
it's hard. It's
And it's
hard.
not even reoccurring. It's not reoccurring
Yeah,
revenue.
yeah. You
Like
work so hard for that $100 sale, and you may not ever see him again.
so, I don't know if you know Cameron King, like if you've heard of him or not, but like he did an interview and he said, or someone asked if you could restart, what's the one thing you would do? And he said subscription model instead of bulk beef model.
Interesting.
So
Interesting. How are you? Are you? Did
something
you use? I can't remember. Did you use them before?
we wanted to, we just couldn't justify the cost.
Oh, okay. Got it.
It was $18,000 to sign up.
Wow. I just talked to a
And
lady
they
last.
didn't build this. They didn't build the system. That was us building the system.
Yeah, I just talked to a lady last night that was with for like over a year, and she said it was $18,000, and they gave her an online course and said follow these
Yep.
videos. Good luck. And she was like, "There's like no help,"
Right.
and I was like, "Oh my god, that's insane."
It's basically like you charged us the 7, and all we got were your modules and maybe a 30-minute one-on-one session with you once in a while.
That's insane. And I'm like, no wonder
Yeah.
so many people are so pissed at him and
Yeah.
fed up with it.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, basically.
That's a sham.